Hello, and welcome to the first installment of our new stream series, Procurement Ninjas, in which we embark on the journey of becoming a true procurement savvy, a ninja if you want. I will be your host. My name is Zuzana Doležalová. I'm a senior consultant here at Deloitte focused on procurement technologies. If you have any questions, they can be asked via Sli.do, and you can see the QR code now on the screen. Our first stream is focused on people and technologies in procurement. During the pandemic, companies shifted their attention towards supply chain and purchasing. Procurement departments started facing new challenges and had to find employees with the relevant skills. People, although being a powerful driver of change and progress, cannot handle this all on their own. New technologies should be their right hand. However, the much discussed digitalization is not a simple process, and companies ask themselves a lot of questions. Where do we begin? What challenges do we need to overcome? How exactly will new technologies make people's jobs easier? To discuss the first topic of the stream, the people, we have here Maciej Latal from Notino. He is the head of purchasing. Hello.
Hello, nice to be here.
We have Luboš Libiak from Sli.do. Hello, Luboš.
Hi, nice to be here.
Jan Janek from Liberty Global, head of P2P.
Hello.
And our Deloitte, Misha Shramova.
Hi.
So, let's go to the first question. And I would like to ask you, Luboš, how would you describe the qualities of people in procurement?
I think that's a good question, and for me, there are two sort of perspectives on that. I think historically, procurement was not so much of a term that was used. I think a lot of organizations actually were trying to figure out how to get the stuff that they needed at the right price and at the right time. So I think historically the needs or specifications for people working in procurement were focused mostly around technical skills. I think this is changing rapidly now, and a lot of organizations are looking for people who are, I would say, more savvy when it comes to interpersonal skills, communication, change management, as these become, important to drive the agenda that is now linked with technology adoption, digitalization, and the need for procurement to basically deliver value to not only the internal stakeholders but also to customers.
Are there any specific skills that you were? I know that you hired people for, in your career for procurement positions. Were there any specific skills that you were looking for? What kind of team you were looking to build?
Mm-hmm. So the idea that I had when I was working, let's say, as head of procurement at Mall Group, for instance, was that I wanted to build a diverse team that would be complementary in their capabilities, and also I was looking for personal connection to be there as the, I would say, founding block. So I think we need to create teams that like to work together and that can trust each other. And the capabilities that I was looking for were basically data analysis. Like, do you understand the data and how to translate them into business insights or foresights? So I hired a person specifically to help, the team cater for all those data-driven questions. Then obviously I had category managers who were there to be subject matter experts on the categories they were trying to cover. And the skills that I was looking for in them were mostly relationship building skills. So stakeholder management, change management skills, for them to be fluent communicators, etc. So I think for me, it was more about finding the right balance between technical skills and I would say social skills to deliver value that is not, let's say, only cost-driven.
That's insightful. Maciej, in your current role, you are also hiring probably a lot of people. How's the situation on the market of people?
In fact, I can fully agree with Luboš about all the personal qualities, because I believe that you don't need any specific skill set for working in procurement, rather than you are looking for mindset of the people who should be more self-motivated and more team members who are looking for added value in the whole supply chain on the input of the company, which means you are really not can hire a person based on his CV, which is sent to you. And specifically in our e-commerce business, it's more complicated because people in procurement are related also on the sales side of the business. So more or less, we are looking for supermans who are capable to do sales, understand marketing, understand procurement, understand negotiation, and those typical hard skills for procurement people. So situations, you can find smart people, but it's not so easy.
Do you also train, people, like, do you also have a leap of faith in people if you see the, let's say, the people skills of the people?
Definitely. Notino is built on young perspective people, which means every single position we hire, not just in procurement, but if it's assistant, if it's person who should solve invoice, we always looking for potential for future, which means most of the people in the senior positions in procurement came from portfolio managers or buyer positions in the past.
Is there something that you see like missing in the skills of people, which is easily trained, maybe?
Easily trained. Maybe it's not related to procurement only, but what I see is a lack of basics in basic digitization skills, which means every single company goes for multiple Excel trainings every year, learning how to do the pivot table all again and again and again. But today, when you've got every company get their G Suite or Microsoft 365 environment, and that's quite easy for people to be trained in the connections between those office softwares they can use to automate their work without any IT support needed, which means those low-code applications, which are quite easy to handle, can support people a lot in procurement role with ad hoc analysis, with their daily tasks they have to face, and they don't need to ask for improvements in ERP system or purchase apps. I see that's not just in the procurement, but in the maybe Czech Republic. Maybe someone can tell me how the situation on the different markets. But that's what I see is missing all across the market.
Jan, do you have anything to add? What is the situation on different markets?
I think in different markets we share the same issues. Finding correct people is the key, and the trend, as I know it, is that you move more to develop your own people, bring more junior talents, and you invest more into the talent academies, and you really want to teach them right skills which will also fit your own company standards, and that's now, I think, what I see also in our company.
Oh, maybe then you could go to Misha. Misha has quite of an experience with upskilling people in procurement. You were leading a course. What are the skills that people actually acquire? What do you teach them in these courses?
So I think from the soft skill perspective, it's what Maciej actually said. It's really important. What kind of mindset do you have, and willingness to learn and be somehow able to take responsibility for your actions, and so that's the soft skills. And then the hard skills on like how to implement technology, what are the benefits of that, and how to work with different tools. That's what you can easily, in my view, easily learn.
Easily, in your view, Luboš, maybe this is also your experience, but what I'm hearing also from people here at Deloitte who implement different procurement technologies is the issue can be the change management. People really working with these technologies, let's say in a year's time.
And I think that's the big part of the puzzle. So digitization is means how to get to a result, and obviously you still need people to get to that result. Historically, again, a lot of people were used to their ways of working. A lot of people were used to things working in a certain way, reporting in a certain way, etc., doing it by themselves. I think what the technology actually allows, and this piece is then also very closely linked to change management, is for people to transition from their current roles into roles that probably can have higher added value, that can fulfill the wider strategic agenda of the organization. But obviously, every change effort leads to an increase in resistance, and this is something that needs to be managed properly, and there are ways how to do it. So you can do it top down, and then probably the zone of resistance of the people actually sort of increases. But also you through technology adoption can, for instance, find your internal champions for the solution, and they can be then the multipliers of the change within their teams. Because like once this is your colleague or peer or friend, maybe it's easier for him to convince you and to show you a real life example of how that technology solution helped him to be more efficient, or basically achieve more, or hit his target, etc.
Yep. In fact, I could not agree more, because we are we've got fresh experience with moving to new procurement software or purchase app we use in Notino, and in fact, we follow just all the steps Lubos said. We make the people part of the process. That's the most important thing, because we're changing it for them, and we try to help them to get their job easier and to enable them to bring more added value to the company, not just copy-paste figures from one place to the other. And it's about transparency and communication. You really need to show them what you are doing, why you are doing it, and how it helps their situation. You can easily imagine master data maintenance process. Always, when you ask anyone to maintain master data of suppliers, of your product cards or whatever, never happens when there is no enough motivation. In fact, when there is no real use for the data you put in the system, no one do that. In case you've got hundreds and thousands of suppliers, you can't control that the figures and contact persons are correct. So you really need to find why to put it here, and you need to clearly communicate with all person or all people involved in the process.
You mentioned that you're just on this journey. Are people afraid that technology will take their jobs, that they will be redundant? And do you think this can happen?
Some of they might be afraid, but I believe it's not where it's going, because as I mentioned, we are looking for really talented people, which means when we remove routine from their daily task, as I mentioned, copying figures from one place to the other, they are still capable to grow and bring more added value through strategic activities in procurement, which means I can imagine typical procurement activities like negotiations and looking for common agreements, because it's not just about the price and insulated price conditions, payment terms, Incoterms. You have to negotiate. It's always such a complex stuff that you are not able to automate it easily. But what you can automate is daily routine. You can pass it away and leave the people bring the value through better business conditions.
Yeah. That's actually a great answer. Jan, do you also see some companies being afraid that technology will take away people's jobs, and how do you ease their mind?
I think in the past it was maybe a topic, but now I think every employee, every company, they understand that I never saw a team which is overstaffed. I see always teams which are understaffed, and they are really swimming under the water, which they need automation, digitalization, that the resources can do their job. and I think everyone now understands, let's digitalize, let's get the waste from the processes away, that they can really focus, as you correctly told, on strategic topics, value adding topics, and using robotics, automation is really to remove the daily routine. And I think now currently no one is really afraid that now when we implement the robot or we implement some automation that I will lose my job. A lot of people see it as a benefit, that they can really focus on interesting things, they can develop, they can grow in the company. And I think it's now not the real fear that we will lose jobs because of digitalization.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if I might, it's a part of our KPI for implementation, how people are satisfied with their work, because in the past we saw that huge dissatisfaction in a job of our buyers came from insufficient system support, which means you really need to do it because someone else will do it and take your buyers away from you, because the job is easier with sufficient system support and automation.
Mm-hmm. Great point. Misha, you are an expert in the field of strategic sourcing. Do you meet also with fears of technology when you implement solutions? And is there something you can tell people to ease their mind that technology is their friend?
That's a very good question. I indeed see sometimes fear. It always depends on the personality, of course, maybe also on the generation and the experience of that person. But I think it's very good to actually discuss and communicate clearly the benefits of the technology and really take the time with the person if there is a fear. Explain, okay, look, this can really make your job easier and you will actually have your free hands, and use your brain for more strategic thinking, negotiations, topics like sustainability and so on. And yeah, as my colleague said, it's really crucial to communicate and explain and take the time.
Lubos, we were talking about the, you take out the routines. Then what do you think, in which activities then the people can focus on? Maciej mentioned negotiation. What will you have more time for then when you have the software solution?
Yeah, I'll probably just add something really quickly on the topic of whether people should fear for their jobs. I think a lot of companies now realize that adopting digital solutions actually means creating new opportunities for people to find in the organization. So, a couple of years ago, there were very little procurement organizations who would have data engineers working for their team, or data analytics working for their teams, or, people who are sort of internal consultants. So I think digitalization might be, a threat for some, but I see it as a great opportunity to uncover the value that has been maybe hidden under the stone that has been now, picked up and lifted. So I think that's just my take on whether to fear, of people losing jobs. On your question, actually, regarding the activities, I think I read a study recently that said, and the recipients of that study were CPOs of global companies. And one of the biggest things that they were looking at to solve actually in 2022 was to really align themselves better with their internal and business stakeholders, because procurement is now at a crossroad, and due to pandemic and all of the things that are happening around, we became like part of the center stage or in the spotlight. So executives and board members actually come to ask us, okay, so what's the supply chain situation? What is it that we're actually going to do about it? How is inflation going to basically affect our profits and loss, and what sort of strategies do we have to sort of justify or remedy these activities? So I think really aligning yourselves with your business stakeholders, understanding how you can contribute to generating value, but also reflecting their needs and requirements, so that whatever you're then doing with your suppliers in regards to your strategy development or basically execution of your operational or tactical activities will be in line with their needs and requirements. And that ultimately will then lead to procurement gaining more trust in the organization, And I think that that is something that a lot of procurement professionals are sort of calling for in the last, decades, to be part of the strategic decision-making process, to get the seat at the table, or whatever you want to call it.
That was a great point. Procurement at the center stage. Jan, do you feel the same, that that procurement has really become this?
Sure. I'm coming I was working in the past in banking sector, so in banking sector, procurement positioned well after 2008 when the financial crisis hit us, and there procurement came really into all discussions of board members, and we got a lot of strengths. And now another crisis is bringing really procurement into a central stage, and company who knows that what's the value of procurement can only succeed, and they always position procurement on a very high level in the organization, because it's a clear message, like €1 saved is €1 of profit, and I think who knows that, then that's a winning game.
And one last question for you, Maciej, because in our initial talks, when we were preparing for the stream, you mentioned that you don't like the term that procurement is here to serve for the internal customer. How would you like to change this, because you're coming into the center stage?
It's slightly easier in e-commerce, because now when you just buy the goods and then sell them with some added value, it's easier. In the manufacturing industry, you get in much more complicated situation, and you have to really sell the added value, which is brought on the table by procurement, like sustainability topics. There are more topics than just related to the price. Like especially, I believe that the last crisis with price of energies showed that how important is risk management in procurement. Mm-hmm. So you just show every single year, showing again and again your saving reports, and if you -1%, -2%, and now you are facing a situation where you grow by 30% year over year. And that's what makes the difference between good procurement and the procurement which is just reactive. So I believe that the consequences on the market helps us a little bit to get on the center of the stage, and smart companies, I believe, will use this and keep it as it is, and not put the procurement back on the back seat.
Where it was. Wow. Wow, thank you very much. That was great insight. Thank you. That's the end of our first topic, and we will move to Ninja Round, which is a series of short questions, like lightning round from the friends, short and sweet, just to get to know our participants, our guests, a bit better. Luboš, are you ready for your Ninja Round questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so The 1 minute starts now. So, Lubos, early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Are tomatoes a fruit or a vegetable?
Vegetable.
Artificial intelligence or machine learning?
AI.
If you could have dinner with someone you admire, who would it be?
Probably my parents.
Okay, procurement or purchasing?
Yeah, that's a good one. There are so many good people. I think anybody who has been able to really transform their organization. So, I mean, Paolo Martinez, CPO of Novartis, Cyril Purad, maybe from BT. I mean, those are really the people who are leading the charge with procurement right now.
Okay, and what is your guilty pleasure food?
A good
Done.
burger.
You did. Done. You really took this seriously. Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun. I hope you learned something about yourself.
Yes, I need to look up what tomatoes really are.
It's a fruit.
Okay, so I was wrong, but it's good to be wrong.
Okay. It's sold as a vegetable, but it's a fruit. It's because of taxes, though.
Good to know.
Hello, Maciej. We start with a question specifically made for you. Shopping online or in store?
Online.
Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Procurement or purchasing?
Procurement.
What is the most priceless skill at work?
10-finger typing.
Wow. Is your bed made right now?
Sorry?
In the morning when you wake up, you
No.
No.
No. That's why I didn't know what you're talking about.
Okay. What is your guilty pleasure food?
Kofola. That's a drink, in fact.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
If you could have dinner with someone you admire, who would it be?
I'm gonna safe answer my wife.
Your wife. Wow. Okay. Climbing a mountain or jumping from a plane?
Nothing of that.
Nothing. If you were really hungry, would you eat a bug?
Yes, I would.
Okay, and now we will move to our next session, which is procurement and technology. So welcome back to the traditional setup. We will start talking more about technology in procurement, which should be the right hand of people and should help them excel. Misha, I have a very, very difficult question for you. So what do you think are the prerequisites for digitalization of procurement?
You know, I'm a dreamer, and I wish the procurement tools work as like a magic pill or a magic wand, and client just buys the tool and you turn on the button and everything is unicorns and sweet. But it's not like that, unfortunately. Or actually, it's a good point because we still then need the teams and people to help us. So that's one of the prerequisites, to have like enough resources and people who know the organization, who know the processes, and who know what they want to achieve with the tool. And they have to be ready before such a digitalization project starts, and have enough time and dedication to help, because it's never just one party. It's always the client, the solution provider, and the partner who cooperate closely together. And so I think this is really important to prepare upfront, and then also communicate internally, externally, within all the parties what we actually want to achieve with the tool. So that's one thing. And then another important part, which I see often is missing in such projects, is a readiness of master data and also processes. So it's not like that you buy the tool and it just works itself, right? It really depends what you actually put in and what comes out. So have ready the master data, have ready the processes for both sourcing and purchasing, procurement. And if you don't, it's okay, but just just speak up, and we can help you with that, and we can cooperate and create it, and improve the master data and so on. But these points are really crucial to be successful, in my view.
You talk about stakeholders. In your opinion, who are these stakeholders? Because that's a very broad term, stakeholder.
Yeah, it really depends what you want to achieve with the tool, and how big is the transformation. If you just transform strategic sourcing, then you will have different stakeholders. Then if you really take the procurement as such, like end to end, then it would be definitely the buyers, category managers, but then also people who use, for example, the procure-to-pay solutions, right? So the requisitioners and people from IT, business in general. So actually, or if we talk about contracts and contract management, then we need also cooperation with the legal department. So it's actually a lot of different stakeholders across the organization.
Wow, sounds like a massive undertaking. Jan, you've done already some of these undertakings in your fruitful career. So what should you expect? What should one expect from such a process?
I think it depends always. When we implemented it before crisis, it was much more difficult to, or before Corona crisis and Corona pandemic situation, it was very difficult to implement new stuff because you had IT and a lot of things were not possible, remote accesses, distributed working with the data, and COVID showed us that now there are much easier ways to implement tools to bring people working also from remote locations. So the security went a little bit to a side. But for me, it's really super crucial that whenever someone implements a new tool for procurement, it has to be very smoothly implemented in the entire architecture of other tools, and it has to really efficiently communicate with other systems and other teams, that we really can't use it as a simple magic pill and it will solve all the issues, because sometimes you implement a tool, but it can backfire into the organization to maintain the tool, to bring the master data to it, to fill it with data. It really will bring much more work than the situation was when we did not have the tool. So for me, all systems has to be really taken as a project on which a lot of people from the company works, where the stakeholders are very well informed, people are on board, IT is on board, and that really it's rolled out in a smart way, and that it really has to communicate with all other system and peers that we don't create waste or even more waste into the processes.
Oh, wow. No more waste in processes sounds good. Lubos, you talk to companies and consult them on strategies. What are the questions you think companies should be asking themselves before they go on this journey?
I think like digitalization for me is a great thing to be working on, but I believe many businesses are trying to take a bit of a shortcut here, and they believe, just like Misha said, you know, we're going to bring in a tool, and now all of a sudden, with the push of a button, we are basically getting to a completely new setup. I think what many companies sort of need to realize is that in order for digital procurement projects or like projects in general for them to happen, I think you need to really have your North Star and understand your vision, where you want to go, how you want to achieve that. There are so many technology providers, you know, out there in procurement space right now that just building your technology sort of stack is becoming quite a nightmare for a lot of the companies. But I think in general, when we talk to clients or prospective clients, there are three distinctive areas where I think they are fearful and where they're looking for help in technology. So one is definitely process, to, you know, standardize the ways of working, to make sure that maybe you can align better with your stakeholders and with your suppliers, that you can basically be more transparent when it comes to maybe your performance. You can be compliant to your contract. So that's one big portion. The second one portion that I see is data, and obviously this is an issue, I think, for 9 out of 10 companies, and I'm being probably optimistic as well. Where spend data quality is an issue that many times actually paralyzes the companies to you know, even start some sort of a digital journey. And then I think the third area is systems and tools as such. So how do you actually leverage the tool to deliver, you know, some sort of an added value? How do you integrate it into your existing infrastructure? How do you make sure that you get a nice adoption, so that when you spend all the time, resource, and budgets to have a digital solution, people will actually be using it at the end of the day. And I think that's crucial.
Thank you. I think one of you, maybe Misha or Jan, mentioned that this whole undertaking is a lot more work than one expects. I see Maciej nodding. You know, how do you sell this to the other stakeholders? Saying this is going to be a big undertaking. It's going to take a lot of time. Maciej.
Well, it's not easy. As I mentioned before, you always need to show them the benefit of what they're doing. If they maintain the data for nothing, just because you ask them top down, the result's going to be poor. So always you need to communicate clearly what's the benefit of the master data being maintained properly, and then it works way better. In fact, we implemented new contact persons just few weeks ago in the system, and we did a big revision of all the contact persons. No one did it. In fact, no one take a look unless system starts to send automatically POs to those contacts, and then magic happened. All the contacts were there.
So there is some magic eventually.
Yeah, in fact, yeah. But you have to show the benefit of what you're doing, and I really like the idea of the North Star. That's the great, because you have to understand the process, what you are doing, but you also have to show it to the people where you are going. But you can be stuck in the way that you want to design everything from a table. You have to keep in mind that you should stay agile enough to, you know, bring the solution you really need, not just to figure out, hey, I would like to be like this, and that, and then do the plan for 2 years. In 2 years, you work in different company usually, even if you stay in the same chair. So staying agile during the development, and if you get the chance to implement part by part, because it's again connected with the processes, You have to first analyze, then standardize, optimize, and then digitize. And that's what you need to do part by part. And if you want to take a shortcut, it usually never works.
I see that you're very focused on people.
Sorry for that.
No.
Coming back to the original
I
topic.
find it very refreshing that you really think about people when you talk about these processes and how they have to be on board. All the people that are connected to those processes. So I think it's great.
We try our best.
Okay.
Actually, if I may to add, I'm really happy to see that you really like the agile approach, because that's really important. If you have like 2 years transformation, everything is changing so fast, and you really cannot expect that the processes and the world will work the same now and 2 years later, right? So you really have to have also the technology like that it's adaptable, and you can really change it as you go, as per your needs.
I think 2 years ago we only started to hear about Corona, so yeah, that's true. That's true. Life can change a lot in those 2 years. So you're right. Okay. Anything else to add?
Not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Jan, I have a question for you. So where do you see the hurdles in potential implementations? Where do companies get stuck?
I think I will be boring people. No, it always starts like the hurdles is the organization, and very often it's the rigid IT, that the IT department, when it's the old style, now we can't do it, and really the biggest issue I saw always is a lack of preparation. As I think we all agreed, preparation is the key. You have to measure the process, you have to analyze the process, you have to analyze all obstacles which might arise. You have to stay super agile, because it really, you start the project which takes 1 year, and after the 1 year you find out that you don't really have to do that what you wanted to do before the year. But it's always coming, what I remember, to people, that you have to find a super project manager, program manager, someone who leads these digitalization projects and has enough view on the entire company, because implementing something nice on one end can cause a disaster on another hand. It's very often this game, you hit the head and then it jumps out another one, and this should not happen. You know, that's really, and I often saw it, that fixing issues, that we implement a small tool, we fix a marginal issue, but then after half a year we find out that, oops, there is something burning, and the root cause was that we fixed something. So it's really always analyze, define the requirements, and speak to the stakeholders, bring business on board, because the business partners, internal stakeholders, are really key.
I usually said, don't touch it unless it works, unless you are really decided you want to do it properly.
Yeah, that's
really.
And of course, you just mentioned how to prepare, how to influence the stakeholders. You have to show them a real benefit and really like a business case for every change or a major change. There are super tools how you can measure it. You come to the root cause of the changes. You can make force field analysis. You can really go and analyze the topic, and then you can come up with a business case. And very often it comes out on the end of the day that it was a great idea, but implementing it will cost us a lot of money and does not bring any value. So sometimes killing good ideas is not a bad thing in life.
Killing good ideas is not a bad thing in life. Wow. Okay. Okay. Anything to add from Lubos's side?
Yeah, so I think for me there are two defining moments when it comes to technology adoption. I think it is really important for procurement leadership team to actually take ownership. If we're only talking about like a major sort of undertaking, so I think it's really important for the procurement team to be on board and to fully support the activity, so that it doesn't get I would say thrown off the table. The other thing I believe is governance as such of these programs. So to really have the organizational setup, designed in a way that supports a flexible approach, but also supports a speedy delivery to the business. So having, project management, maybe office or, people supporting the implementation, having data analysts to take away, I would say, the mundane, repetitive tasks from people, etc., etc. So I think for me, these are the two, I would say, key differentiators.
Thank you. Thank you. Misha, if I may ask, so what are the trends that you see? We talked about the hurdles, we talked about where to start, but what is coming? What is coming in procurement?
So one thing which I actually see coming, that it's already starting to happen, is that we'll have like one landing page, or the user will have one landing page where all the different tools are connected. And we don't talk only about procurement tools. It can be like source-to-pay solution, plus some category management tool, plus also maybe some tools for finance, core ERPs, and so on. And then they are all connected, integrated. Doesn't matter which provider it is from, right? So the idea is that actually everyone will somehow more cooperate together, and the integrations will be hopefully smoother, faster, and then just like the user will open one page and everything will be there, Because today I have the feeling that companies implement 10 different applications, and then the user really have to search and think like, okay, where this approval comes from, and where I have to make the order, and where I have to make the RFP, and so on. And then it can be really actually time-consuming and a bit messy. So yeah, the ideal trend, in my view, would be that everything is in one page and just, all in. And the good thing is that I already see it happening, so that's a good one. And second trend, which I hope will come soon as well, is somehow predictive procurement or predictive sourcing with the help of machine learning, where the tools will be able to actually take your past actions and learn from that and then do the actions for you. So for example, if you say that you need certain savings for category XY, then the tool will already suggest you maybe some preferred suppliers, run the RFP or prepare it for you, and then give you just some suggestions, and then you will have, it will all be quicker, and then you will have more time to actually spend on the topics like I said, sustainability or building supplier relationships. Even though we are moving to the online world more and more, I still think that face-to-face meetings are really important and crucial, and keep in touch and building and working together also with the suppliers on the common goal. So that's the trends which I hope for.
Wow, okay. Sounds sometimes too good to be true.
Said I'm a dreamer.
Jan, I see that you would like to add something. What do you see? What do you see coming in procurement?
I think Misha told it pretty well, but I think a major change which is coming is that a lot of things are becoming in a self-service mode. That the old style was, yes, I have to make a PO, and I go to my colleague who is responsible for making POs. And I think all the trends now is doing like, instead of sending an email, just do it by yourself. And also Misha told it correctly that a lot of data will be accessed from many points. So I can really come not only to one screen, but I can access purchase orders from my mobile phone, then I can access it from another view. But we are still working on a centralized data set, but we can work with it in many other ways. So this is this distributed data processing, and it becomes a topic that people very often does not know where the data is stored, but they can access it from anywhere they want. And of course, cloud computing and AI is now playing a really very important role. Data management, data analytics, these are now topics which are coming, because without a good analysis of data, sourcing can't work. And the AI will help a lot, like, hey, these are the suppliers, this is your spend, and it can read your invoice lines, and it can really say for exactly what you spend the money, and it can tell you, but this is what you spend for these items, and maybe these suppliers from the market can help you, and this communication will be much smoother and much more intelligent. And I think that's already happening now.
Okay, okay. If you could, Maciej, you are you are actually like a head of procurement. If you could think of something that you would like to have in procurement, what would it be? Maybe it wasn't mentioned.
Regarding tools?
Regarding tools, technology.
Okay. Maybe nothing out of what haven't been said yet, but I really like the idea of centralized page. But I'm honestly still not sure about where our development is going to go. If we go for a single tool which can do it all, but do it in a standardized way, or if the way is in the combination of lightweighted tool in the single homepage, where you can utilize really any solution you like in the market. So I believe that what I would like to have is to have the aggregator, some like your ERP system you connect to all the other systems and make it easier for future, because you never know what new tool is going to be on the market next year. So I can imagine what might be interesting for me in 2, 3, 5 years. So I like future-proof solutions, and if I have one, I know that, hey, I've got a great basis and I can connect whatever I want in the future. That's what I would be super happy about.
Mm-hmm. Sounds great. Okay. I think our time is up. This was a very, very fruitful conversation. Thank you all for joining me. I want to thank Luboš Libiak.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Misha.
Thank you, Zuzka.
And thank you, Maciej.
Thank you very much. It was super interesting.
And one more ninja round for our guests, Misha and Jan Janek. So, Misha, are you ready to learn something more about yourself?
Okay, we can start.
Okay, so shopping online or in store?
In store.
Climb a mountain or jump from a plane?
Depends on the mountain.
Wow, good answer. If you were really hungry, would you eat a bug?
Yes.
What is the opposite of upstream?
Downstream.
How many years celebrated internet connection in Czech Republic this year?
Like 20, 30 years, something like that.
1992. The skill you value the most about the people you work with?
I would say honesty and trust.
Ice cream or cake?
Chocolate cake.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Would you rather have a cat or a dog?
Dog.
If you could have dinner with someone you admire, who would it be?
That would be my best friend.
Okay. Procurement or purchasing?
Procurement.
What does AI stand for?
Artificial intelligence.
Okay. I don't know if I asked this one, early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
And okay,
Too
we're
fast.
done. We're done.
Thank you.
You are too fast, Misha.
I'll slow down.
Okay, okay. Now up to the next contestant, Jan Janek. Let's see if you can be Misha in a number of questions. So face-to-face meeting or a call?
Face-to-face.
Pizza or pasta?
Both.
Artificial intelligence or machine learning?
AI.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs.
Okay. If you could have dinner with someone you admire, who would it be?
Of course, my wife.
Of course, your wife.
But without children.
Without children. Procurement or purchasing?
Procurement, very well connected to purchasing.
Okay. Shopping online or in store?
Online.
And ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Going to bed early, waking up late.
Waking up late. Okay. The skill you value the most about people who you work with?
Trust and willingness to really crack new topics and really this passion for changes, innovations.
Okay, okay. What does ML stand for? ML.
Machine learning.
Okay. Good. Done. Okay, thank you very much, Jan. I froze there. And I thank you very much, dear viewers, for spending time your afternoon with us, and I hope you have a great day.